Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dilz, and running solo today. I don't even know if we wanted to call this a full-on episode or just call it like a Christmas special. This is going to be a shorter one for a few different reasons. One, it's just me here. Two, I have a 1-year-old who's just over one. For some reason, he decided not to sleep last night. I don't know why. He didn't sleep at all. He was up like every hour. And then he decided to wake up at 5 a.m. He normally wakes up at 7:30, which is still way too early for me. But anyways, whatever. He normally wakes up around 7:30. He decided to wake up at 5 a.m. And me and the wife, we tried to get him back to sleep. He was not having. He was hyped. So anyways, I had to get up super early. So I'm running on no sleep, but here we are. It is Christmas Eve and had to record this fun little episode. Plus, not a whole lot of updates happening. And finally, the quadruple whammy. I haven't been playing a whole lot of RuneScape this month. I've been staying with my wife's parents for the whole month just because, in the summer, we moved out about 16 hours away to a new province in Canada on the East Coast. Somewhere that's a little bit more affordable because I was living in Ontario, and anyone who is from Ontario, you know what's going on. The housing market, it's fucked. It is brutal, way too expensive. So we ended up moving out east, which is a little bit cheaper. And anyways, point is, we're back here for the holidays. I brought my whole setup though. I got my microphone, right? Test, is this thing on? Brought my computer, brought everything, my whole desktop, but I just haven't been feeling the RuneScape itch. I'm not too sure. I think it's just, you know what, maybe I just don't feel like playing when we're spending time with family and stuff. And I haven't really been playing mobile that much at all. I just haven't felt too compelled. And this is the problem with RuneScape. And it's also kind of why I'm really excited for a new skill. I hope we get a new skill. I hope it's a good skill. So I'll say right off the bat that the new skill, the poll asking, will a new skill come into the game? It did pass. Now we're moving on to the next phase where they're going to come up with some ideas for a new skill. Really what that means is they're going to look at the community for some ideas for skills, and hopefully that inspires something. Or maybe, honestly, this is where I get a little bit nervous. The community, by and large, is pretty dumb. They are pretty dumb. They have some pretty hot takes, and you never know who they're going to listen to. You go on Reddit, and some people are just, there's a vocal minority who are just annoying, and they're, you know what I'm talking about. It's on Reddit. It's on Twitter. Is it on Facebook? It's probably on Facebook, but I mean, who's paying attention on Facebook? I'm sure not. So who knows what kind of skills are going to be coming into the game? I don't know, but I hope something good comes for multiple reasons. So part of the reason why I haven't played a lot of RuneScape on top of being with family for the holidays is that, and if you've been listening for a while, it's this on again, off again little rut that I find myself falling into where my main account is, it's at the end game. It's a pretty seasoned account. It's pretty close to maxing out, but it's still far away. That's a problem. Like, you're so close. I'm like 50 levels till I max, but those 50 levels are going to take forever. And it's just like, it's not fun. That's the problem. A lot of it isn't fun. And I've gotten to the point where I'm not really going to force myself to do stuff that I don't enjoy just to get the achievement. It's not worth it for me. If it's AFK, I could probably do something on the side, watch something, or, maybe while I'm recording a podcast, I'm out there running agility or something. That's kind of what I do. But it is slow, and it's going to take a really long time. And I honestly, it's just, as nice as the max cape is, it's just the grind isn't really, really worth it. So that's not a goal that's in my sights. When you look at other things, a few things I've been mentioning over the years is I want to get my Inferno cape. And gosh, probably about a year ago, I was actually trying to get my Inferno cape. I was sending attempts. I was looking up guides and all that stuff. And I'll be honest, I didn't make it far at all, but I wasn't really enjoying the Inferno. The Inferno is like the hardest content in the game. And it gives you the best cape in the game, the Inferno cape, which is like, it's the fire cape +1. So it's a quite chase item. The problem is the problem isn't that it's hard. The problem is that it's hard and it's long. So it's like you ask the question, okay, you have, typically these days I have about a solid hour and a half to game, maybe 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, right? Do I really want to spend every single one of those minutes doing content, doing like this one piece of content? Even if it was really fun, I usually don't want to. I'm kind of wanting to diversify a little bit, bounce around and do a few different things. I want the freedom to kill a boss a few times. I'm not feeling it. Let's move to something else. But the Inferno isn't like that. The Inferno, you start, you're going to be locked in. Either you die really early on or you make it far, and it takes hours and hours. So on top of it just being long, I just don't find it fun. The type of difficulty that it isn't something that I really like. And that's another thing that I'm at with my account, where it's like a lot of the things that I kind of want to work towards, whether it's like solo Chambers of Xeric or the Inferno, I guess it's just those two things. A lot of it takes like this new level of skill that just doesn't click for me. So anyways, point is, the Inferno, that is something that I don't really care about. I'm not going to try to attempt it. Anyway, so I'm stuck in this spot where it's like, I don't really know what to work on my main. All my skills are pretty high, and I'm not unlocking anything with my skills anymore, except for maybe the actual skill cape itself when I get to 99. So it's like, do I really want to train Hunter? Do I want to level Hunter for from 88 to 99 just for the hunting cape? Not really. Is there anything I unlock along the way? No, not really. Nothing that I really care about, at least. So it's like, okay, I don't really want to do it. But a new skill gives me something to work on, right? This is me looking at the new skill proposal from a very selfish standpoint. The second part of it is, if they do the skill right, it's not going to be just another old school RuneScape skill. Like, that's the question. Do you want it to just be another old school RuneScape skill? So when you look at all the old school RuneScape skills, a lot of them aren't that fun, but we like them for some reasons, or maybe we like some specific content about it, or maybe a lot of them are grandfathered in. But when we look at smithing, mining, wood cutting, fish, fletch, I can go through them all. Most of them, they're not that fun. We train them in short bursts, or maybe we have a lot of money to spend to really level them up quickly, or whatever. But the point is, do we really want another skill like that would fit in with smithing, that would fit in with fletching? Because they pitched something like that, warding, and it failed for the reason that nobody wanted another one of those skills. And I think I mentioned before, but I'm pretty sure I did vote yes, because a new skill is exciting. But then I kind of regretted my vote afterwards when I started hearing people saying, do you really want a new skill that's basically fletching, reskinned maybe? I was like, no, I don't want one of those. I want a new skill that's like, yeah, this is like, I want it to stand apart from the other skills. I want it to be like very fun. Part of the reason why I get excited for something like sailing that they've tried to pull, which just barely failed in the past, is that skill seems like it has a lot of opportunity to be cool and reinvent what skilling is without it just becoming another AFK or a buyable skill. But also still fitting in well with the world. I love the idea of maybe managing your own port system. That's already in RuneScape 3. I love the idea of just sailing in general. I kind of like the pirate or the nautical theme. It's kind of cool. I like the idea of exploring new islands. What's on these islands? Maybe there's new monsters. We love combat. Combat's fun. Maybe there's new dungeons, and dungeons could be like a new pseudo raid or a smaller scaled raid where you have like 3 people only that can attempt it. Or I like the idea of maybe naval combat. I can't actually picture RuneScape ever getting that. That just seems like too ambitious of an idea. But you see my point. Like, there's a lot of things about it that sound very exciting if they've done it right. Will they make it that extensive or that like complex? Is that the right word? I have a hard time seeing that because sometimes I do feel that Jagex likes to go with simple ideas because simple ideas are easy to pass. The more complicated something is, the harder it is for people to be like, yeah, let's sign off on this. So that's a trouble one. But so that's one of the reasons I am looking forward to a new skill. It's just it'll give us something fresh, and it could give us a not just a new skill, but with it could be a whole lot of new content, a whole new style of content. You could really go deep, and if it's done well, this could be a type of update that is like on par with something that World of Warcraft gets, like a new expansion where they get a whole new zone and they get a lot. We don't really get that with old school RuneScape. We get updates in small bursts. We get, if we do get a new city, like when I think of like the biggest expansion we've gotten in old school RuneScape, like the first thing you want to say is like Zaya, but Zaya was released with nothing. They released a city that had like nothing to do in it. So that doesn't even count. I'm talking about a new expansion. I mean, like, boom, the city's here. Everything there is to do in the city is released, is out on release. And Prifdinus is the first one that comes to mind. You get the city, with it comes the gauntlet. You get a new agility course. You get this volcano. You get these new, like this whole new crafting system sort of thing with these crystal shards where you can make, the new crystal keys which have new armors, or you can make the new enhanced crystal weapons or an armor. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff that comes with it, and it also came with a huge endgame quest that allows you to unlock it. It comes with a new dungeon. It came with a new random rabbit in some cave that just had a shit ton of health. Those things are fun to stumble across, so we don't really get that too often. But a skill has potential to be something like that. The worst thing that would happen, I think, is that they release a skill and then it's just like Zaya. Here's your skill, but there's nothing added. Like, there's not a lot of milestones that unlock new things. We'll add that in later. We'll get the skill out first and the fundamentals of the skill, and then we'll pull the new milestones, the new unlocks. That is less exciting. Which, I mean, they probably will do that to some extent. I mean, of course they will do that to some extent, but the worst thing they could do is just have nothing. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens with this new skill. I'm hoping it brings a little bit more goals on my view on my main account, because the other option is I make a new account and I play something different. And like an Iron Man doesn't quite appeal to me right now. My UAM was fun, but I got a little burnt out on that. But I have a few ideas that I'm kind of mixing with. But and of course, we've got bingo coming up. Bingo always brings a little bit more energy to an account. Anyways, so that is where we're at with my account. I didn't even mention it from the get-go, but here I am. It is Christmas Eve. I've got my eggnog. It wouldn't be a Christmas Eve recording without some eggnog. People put rum in eggnog. Anyone, bet you're listening right now. You're like, yeah, of course they do. I do it. It tastes delicious. So I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but I have a hard time picturing how rum and eggnog would taste good. I have a real hard, like, eggnog on its own is really heavy. I don't know how alcohol mixes well with that. Yeah, I've never really been a big alcohol drinker, and I've tried. I had a Christmas party for my work the other day. Decided I'm gonna try martini for the first time. I never had a martini before. It was awful. I hated it. That's my experience. Anytime I try something that's like kind of fancy, I went through this phase where my son had been born. My son had been born and he came home. But a little backstory behind that: he was born premature by like 2 months. He was supposed to be born in January, mid-January, and he ended up coming into the world at the end of November. So that was a curveball. We weren't expecting that. And he ended up staying in the hospital for about a month. That's just kind of the process when a baby is born premature. They stay in the hospital. They have to finish developing pretty much. And then he ended up coming home on Christmas Day, actually. So that's why I was going to say my kid had come home. But anyways, so my son had come home. He was now at home, and I was thinking like, what's a dad move? What's the next like dad move? I should probably start drinking like some hard liquor, like straight too. So I went and got some nice whiskey glasses. I got some nice whiskey, because whiskey just sounds very manly and very daddly. I don't know. But I got it, and I was like, I'm going to drink a little bit of whiskey. I'm going to watch some TV, play some video games. Anyways, I had like one glass, and I was like, this is awful. I don't like this. This doesn't taste good at all. I just wasn't into it at all. And I was like, you know what? I'm more of like a sparkling water guy. I was like, fuck this whiskey. I'm not getting into this. And I don't know what, I gave it to my brother or something. And then I'm like, you know what? I like my sparkling waters. And if I want to get a little buzzed, I'll have my cannabis infused sparkling water. That's who I am. So, so that's, I'm drinking eggnog straight, and it's really early in the morning. Eggnog sits heavy as it is. Sorry, I'm all over the place. One thing I wanted to mention about the whole skill coming into the game was RuneScape 3 is interesting. They don't have the polling system like we do. They can just put whatever the devs think is going to be cool or is going to be like make them a lot of money. They just put it into the game, and they don't really even care. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you can get some really bad updates, or the direction of the game can change drastically, and you cannot, might not be appealing. But at the same time, they do get some updates that I see from the other side on old school RuneScape. I see this is what's going on in RuneScape 3. I have this thought often where I go, God, that looks really cool. That looks kind of awesome. I kind of want to try RuneScape. I want to get back into RuneScape 3. I want to play it a little bit more, because I never really got super into it. And Jimmy, YouTuber, came out with a video going about the fresh start worlds on RuneScape 3. And I watched it, and I was like, wow, he's really upselling RuneScape 3 to me. And then we had the Winter Summit, but RuneScape 3 also had the Winter Summit. And I didn't actually sit and watch the RuneScape 3's Winter Summit, but I did see some of the, posts on Twitter and a trailer on YouTube and some Reddit posts about some of the stuff they're getting. And one of them was a new skill called necromancy. And my first thought was like, that would be an awful skill to bring into old school RuneScape. But gosh, do I kind of want to try that. That does sound really cool. Because RuneScape 3, they've got summoning. They got divination, which I still don't really understand what divination is. But all I know is that you can fish lobsters wherever you want. You can get a portable lobster fishing area. I don't get it. That skill never clicked for me. So they had divination. They came out with invention, which people seem to love. It really reinvented the way, I guess it didn't reinvent the way combat works, but it let you to augment weapons and stuff and give them cool perks, and really let you So I've been playing a lot of trading card games recently. Heartless kind of got me into Magic the Gathering, which opened up a whole can of worms. Now I'm playing this game called Flesh and Blood. But I also been watching a lot of videos about Yu-Gi-Oh, the trading card game, and Pokemon and Digimon, and I just really enjoy learning about new games and card games and board games. And even if I have no interest in actually playing them, it's kind of cool to see the design and how it works and the concept of it. So with Magic the Gathering, it's notoriously known, I guess, when the Magic the Gathering first came out and their first set of cards came out. That's what a lot of these card games do. They come out with new cards in these sets. So Magic the Gathering comes out with these sets, and then 6 months later they come out with another 200, 300 cards, and then every 6 months, it's actually every 4 months or so, they come out with a new couple hundred cards, and it kind of makes the card pool continue to grow. It's like updates in an MMO. So people who love these card games get excited for when the new sets come out. I mean, the the negative part about this is someone like me who comes into it when the game has been out for 20 years and there's like 20,000 cards and it's just overwhelming and hard to keep track of. It feels very complicated because there's all this background information that people had that I don't have, and I struggled when it comes to like certain parts of different card games, and it's all the card games they're all like that because they release so much. It's like if you went to go play if you go play RuneScape 3, there's so much stuff. You walk past Varrock, there's all of these weird things going on. You're like, what the hell is all this? And it's these updates that have just been coming out over the course of 20 years that RuneScape has been out. So I really enjoy watching card games and board games and how they play. And so Magic, when the first set of cards came out, they were super overpowered. And they made like this rule that any cards that come out after can never be as strong as the first set of Magic cards were, because it make things unbalanced. I'm going to tie this to RuneScape, I promise. I have a point I'm going to circle around to it. Yu-Gi-Oh, on the other hand, leans in to the overpoweredness of how cards perform. And it creates this system where every new set of cards that come out tend to be even stronger than the set before it. And that can be seen good as bad, or be seen as good or bad. I cannot even speak. Holy, it's the lack of sleep, I'm telling you. So it's got its pros and cons that they lean into the overpoweredness. The problem is that if you loved cards, like a set of cards, they're probably not going to stand a chance against these new cards that come out. And of course, there's some like nuances that only true Yu-Gi-Oh players will understand, but this is from like a very surface level of what I gather when I watch videos about it. But the positive part about it is that each new set that comes out is super overpowered, and if you're a deep Yu-Gi-Oh player, that's exciting. I can't wait for this new set to come out because it's gonna have some friggin' crazy shit that I get to play with. That's the positive part about it. But what I'm saying is Yu-Gi-Oh really leans in on that. Old school RuneScape is, in a way, it's similar to Magic, where it's like there's a lot of overpowered things that just came with old school RuneScape, and Jagex is like, we can't bring out updates that are as strong as some of the updates that came out early on, right? Look at the prayer we have. We have prayers that negate all damage from monsters. Melee, magic range. That is so strong. That would never pass today if it was pulled, right? We probably have a bunch of things like that. If you kind of look at all the skills and kind of some of the things that we get from it, you'd be like, there's no way this item or this piece of content would pass the polls if it was. But this was back in the day where they were just coming up with cool shit. RuneScape 3 is like Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't care if stuff is overpowered, because they want to deliver to the player base a new weapon that is cool as hell. And to make it cool as hell, you got to make it strong as hell, usually. And they're like, you know what? Whatever, we'll do it. People might think, well, you're going to devalue this weapon or that weapon or this thing. And they're like, whatever, who cares? Like Bandos and the first set of God Wars bosses are a joke in RuneScape 3. You could just go in there and solo them easily at like level 60, probably. And as an old school RuneScape player, we would never want that to happen in our game. We would never want items to be out that made a level 60 or 70 player so strong that they could go solo Bandos. We don't want that. But in RuneScape 3, they're like, fuck it. Who even wants to do Bandos anymore? We have so many better bosses. Let's let Bandos be a, lower tier boss now that level 60s can farm. The gear isn't even that good. It doesn't even compare to like some of the other gear that we've released since then. So that sort of stuff gets me excited for RuneScape 3 because it's like, wow, a new skill, necromancy. I kind of want to try it out. Yeah. So that stuff seems kind of cool. And they came out with archaeology too. That's another skill I kind of left out, which seems really cool. I know very little about it, but it has seemed like one of the most, well received. Like divination has a lot of question marks for me. Archaeology seems to fit in perfectly. You know exactly what it is. Okay. Anyways, that's it. let's move on from the skills. I didn't mean to get this deep into the skills, and here's a problem. We're going to probably be talking about it a lot over the next couple of weeks and months as, a skill actually gets proposed. Anyways, guys, in preparation for this Christmas Eve or this Christmas special, I guess you want to call it, I reached out to people on Discord and said, hey, if you have any questions you want to send in or anything you want me to touch on or whatever it is, anything you want to share, send it in, and, the community can collectively be a co-host for me for this one. So anyways, I thought it would be fun to kind of go through some of those here instead of the updates, because we don't really have a whole lot of updates to kind of go through. So yeah, let's get right into it. No sound bites. We're just going to start going through it. The first question comes from Hoyt, Mr. Hoyt, and he says, what is your Christmas unique wish list for 2023? And what is your New Year's old school RuneScape resolution? I guess at where your account will be from a year from now, and in new skill theories or discussions and bingo predictions. That's a lot. That's like way more than one question. So I will say that I'm going to save my New Year's old school RuneScape resolution for next episode, because we will be doing our New Year's, or what do we call it? The year in review, where we look at our entire year, and then me and Heartless, if he's available to join, we'll talk about what our resolutions are, what our resolutions were from last year and how well we did. We'll go through all that sort of fun stuff. But what is my Christmas unique wish list? And that's a great question. It's a tough question for a main, I guess, because you're just like, oh, I'll just buy. And I think it's a bit different for an iron, because you can't just buy it. You have to grind it out. So, my first thought is like, well, just give me all the expensive items and sell it. But then again, that's kind of rude. If someone gave you a Christmas present and if you asked somebody specifically for a Christmas present and your plan was just to sell it as soon as you got it, you're like, hey, can I get like a diamond ring? Yeah, that's great. Okay, thanks for the diamond ring, and I'm going to sell it now because I want to buy a bunch of video games with it. That's kind of cheating. But looking at my account, what is my unique wish list for 2023? So if somebody could give me a couple items on Christmas that I would have to keep and I couldn't sell, what would I want? And that's a really tough question, because I've got the T-bow, that's a big one. I've got the scythe, which is also one shreds. But what am I missing? I would probably ask for, and it's not even that expensive, but I would definitely ask for it because I don't have it yet, which is Osmund's Fang from Tombs of Amasket. It's this sword that they've nerfed and then they've tweaked, and I don't even know what it does anymore, but I have never even tried it out, and I would love to feel how accurate and strong it actually is. So that's one weapon I would love. I don't have it yet. I could probably sell some things to buy it, but I'm not going to, because I don't roll like that. The next item, this one's going to be obvious, but Tumikin's Shadow. It's the staff. It's when we look at the best weapons in the game, we have three. It's like three pillars, right? We have a ranged, which is T-bow. And, they all kind of work in a unique way. So the T-bow works, the way this one works uniquely is that it does damage based on your enemy's magic attack or magic offenses. So it works a little bit differently than other bows do. And some bosses it absolutely shreds on. So that thing is awesome. And then the other one we have is the Scythe, comes from Theater of Blood. And the way this one works is if a monster is bigger than one tile, so it's like 2x2, it will attack that monster 3 times, which is kind of cool. It's kind of fun to just see those smacks get sent off. It's very satisfying. And then the third one is the Tumikin Shadow, which comes from the third raid. And the way this one works is it like triples your magic accuracy and strength bonus. So it's like, it just does a ton of damage. So of course I need to add that so I can have all 3 of them. And if I could have one more item, maybe we'd have to throw in like an armor or equipment piece or something, right? Something that's not a weapon. That's the tough one. And I have this problem right now where I have a little bit of money set aside and I'm like, I don't really know what to buy next. There's a bunch of things I can buy, right? Any of the Nightmare uniques, or I could get like Gauntlet uniques, or there's a whole bunch, right? But I think I would have to choose Missouri. I would think Missouri or maybe Torva. Can I just choose the whole set? Maybe Torva or Missouri. Missouri, I feel like Torva would be more useful, but I hate the way it looks. Ugh, don't make me wear it. I'm going to stick with Bandos for as long as I can because I love how Bandos looks. So maybe Missouri. So that would be my Christmas wish list. So I'm excited. I'm excited for someone to buy me those things for Christmas. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that would be my Christmas wish list. Which, like, as I say it, it's like, I don't know. That doesn't feel very exciting. Could I ask for like pets maybe? What would my 3 pets be? Bloodhound. So it'd have to be the Bloodhound. It would have to be, maybe Callisto. I like that pet. It's a pretty cool pet. Bloodhound, Callisto. What would be my favorite pet? I got to open up RuneLite. I got a list of the pets that I've been wanting to grind. Gargoyle pet. It's really cool. I really like that pet. Or maybe, okay, no, I know what it would be. It would be the temple. When you do Guardians of the Rift, you can get an item that recolors your Rift Guardian pet, the rune crafting pet, and it makes it look like the big dude in the middle. I think I'd have to choose that. Would be awesome. Barbarian Assault is another one. Herbivore is another one. All 3 DK pets. Yeah, give me those. There's a few. I think I'd have to go with a pet though, for sure. Nope, I should have muted my phone. Bad practices. Great. And then, so Hoyt, thank you for sending that in. We're going to save the New Year's resolution for the New Year's episode. And then you also asked for bingo predictions. I think my bingo prediction, I'm going to go out, hot take. I think everyone's going to have a good time. It starts in 2 days on Boxing Day, the 26th. I think everyone's going to have lots and lots of fun. So good luck out there. Next is Matacause1, the Matacause1, and he says, I would love to hear a top list for a few different things. And the first thing he names is the top 5 skills in the game. So I'm going to pull it up here. I know you can hear me typing. Normally I go through and I edit these episodes and tighten everything up, but in terms of time, I think we're just going to keep it raw. Okay, so what are my favorite skills? So this is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one because there's tons of skills that I love, or I love the idea of, but I hate trading, right? So I'm just going to, like, what are my favorite skills to actually do? I'm not talking about training, just to actually do the content of it. And this is going to be in no specific order. I don't think I could do, I might have to edit this. This is a dog barking. Anyways. So this is not going to be any particular order. I don't think I'm going to list them like 1 through 5, but I will just name my 5 favorite skills and we can all put them on par with each other. But one of the skills that first comes to mind is construction. I love the idea of construction. I love building the house out. That is fun. I like customizing it and like moving rooms around and making it look neat and like really pimping out a house. That's been one of my drivers in this game, is to get a maxed out house and then just build a real pimped out dungeon. I think that would be great. But here's a problem. I hate training construction. I don't care how fast it is. It is so boring to do. It is so bad. I really, really do not like training construction. I do it in 20-minute bursts, but boy, oh boy, do I hate construction to train. But I love building the house out, which is like what the skill is. So that's, and I feel like that's a problem with a lot of skills. They all kind of have that. Farming is another one. I'm a big fan. I think a lot of this comes down to that I really like simulation games, and I really like the managing simulators. Like I like The Sims, I like City Skylines, I like Stardew Valley. I loved Harvest Moon growing up, Animal Crossing. I loved that when I was a kid. I really enjoyed those type of games. So farming and construction, they both kind of similar, and I really enjoy. I do like training farming as well. I just like going around and harvesting all the little crops, and yeah, it's fun, and it's really satisfying when you've done your run and you can kind of see everything that you've been picking. It's a good time. And I'll also say that farming has this part of it where you really get to make the world look a little bit nicer as well. Just when you walk by an area and you've planted a tree there, it's kind of nice. And it's also cool. Like when I was playing my UIM, and it kind of adds different utility where I was actually to have a maple tree planted in Varrock was so helpful. And I just kept it there because it allowed me to chop a maple tree close to the dig site or fossil island. So I could use those for birdhouses. So that stuff's pretty fun too. The third skill I think I would have to choose, this is an easy one, I think, Slayer, because killing stuff is fun. And I love the variety it brings as well. A lot of people don't like Slayer. They don't want to be told to go kill fire giants, go kill greater demons, or whatever it is. They don't want to be told to kill monsters they don't feel like killing. But for the most part, I do enjoy going to different areas in the game to kill monsters that I don't typically kill anymore. That's kind of fun. And then as you get to higher levels, you get bosses, right? You get more bosses. You get access to bosses, and then you also get boss tasks and that sort of fun stuff too. Those are the first three, and then this is a tough one, right? What is my last two favorite ones? And I don't want to pick, I don't think I could say any of the combat skills for the most part, because that's just Slayer too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That one's tough. Like those are the ones that I lean towards, like attack, because getting new weapons is fun. That's something that's always been exciting. But like magic might be a good one because all the different spell books and there's so many different spells to cast, even though most of them are probably kind of useless. But magic might be one of them because there's so much utility and cool things to unlock. And I remember when I was a kid, getting unlocks to new teleports and new offensive spells and getting desert treasure done and getting a whole new spell book and then getting the lunar spells access to. Those were awesome. And they still are. Like there's still so many spells that I forget about, and every now and then I get reminded they exist and they're actually useful. They find their uses somewhere. And then the final skill that I have to choose, this is the tough one. I don't know what I could choose for the final one. I would probably pick rune crafting. Rune crafting's slow. That's the problem with it, but I enjoyed training rune crafting. It was just slow, but for the most part, I did enjoy it. The XP drops were always really big because you don't get them constantly. You get them like every minute or so, and you get like a big $2,000 XP drop. Very satisfying, and I loved how it brought you to different altars, and each of the altars were really thematic. Like when you go inside each one of them, they all kind of fit what they look like. You go to the water altar and it's like a lot of water is around you, and same with earth, you're in like a forest if I remember correctly, and the fire runes, you're in like a volcano. But then you do stuff where it's like the law rune. I don't remember what the law rune is. I don't know why I use that as an example, but I think, what is it, the mind rune? It looks like a brain or a head or something. I can't remember, to be honest, but it's pretty cool. And then plus when Guardians of the Rift came out, that was pretty fun content. So there, top 5 skills, top 5 quests. So this might be a little bit easier. I'm gonna pick some of the easy ones because they just, first off, Dragon Slayer 2, easily my favorite quest in the game. Easily, it was one of the best experiences I had in the game. I did it on the day of release, spent all day doing it, and it was just such a good time. Song of the Elves as well. That's an amazing quest. It doesn't stand out as much as Dragon Slayer 2. But there are a lot of cool parts, like when it's was it not a siege, but when you're just like torching down Ardone. I know, spoilers, I'm sorry, but you torch down Ardone and it is crazy. Or when you first discover the Elven library, like the Great Library. Oh, that's so much. I had to do it without a guide, the light puzzle. Me and someone in the clan did it together, and took us like 8 hours, but still such a great memory of running it. With the help of someone else, I think made it a lot better. I think the third one I would have to choose is a Soul's Bane. This one is if you go to the Fossil Island, or if you're heading towards Mauritania from Varrock and you're kind of walking the path, you'll see this like crack in the ground, and I think there's an old lady sitting there. That's what the quest is. It's a standalone quest, but I remember when I was a kid doing the quest and being like, what the hell is this? There's a few things that are cool about it. One, you go into this like layer and it's like this almost like demonic area. You get these weapons that you're hitting like 200s. And I remember as a kid, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. Like you never hit that high. So it was really cool to hit that high with these new types of weapons. And then as an adult doing the quest again, the story is so dark. It's about this like child that falls through a crack. But when you go into the crack to save him, it's really like you're entering their psyche, like their mind. And there's different sections. There's like the section of anger and confusion and all this sort of stuff. And basically the child had been corrupt and you had to fight these monsters that were corrupting him. And it was like, it like personified or monstrified. Is that a word? It turned his like emotion of anger into a monster, and that's what you had to kill. And it did that for like 4 different emotions. And then once you killed all the different emotional monsters, I don't know what you want to call them. But the kid died. You end up killing the kid, and then you go up, and it's like you put him to peace. That was how it ended. Like that was the positive part about it. It's like, oh, you put them like now they're in peace. You're like, that's so dark. What the hell? I thought I was gonna save someone. So that one's pretty wild. So that's definitely number 3, and then number 4. See, I get these 2 quests mixed up in my memory, but Temple of Ikov and Underground Pass. Those, I think both of them are kind of similar in like the theme of it, and it's in the same area. But just traversing that underground passage, it's pretty spooky. It's pretty dark. So the entire atmosphere of the quest is like pretty strange, and you have like someone whispering to you in the chat the whole time. I think it's the Temple of Ikov, because I think it's Ivan that's talking to you. Maybe it's Underground Pass. I don't remember exactly, but we're gonna put both those quests up because they both have a very similar atmosphere and environment. So that's really cool. I think I really like if it tells a really great story. I love that. We talked about it before, but the strong point of storytelling of RuneScape isn't through its dialogue. It's through other things. So Dragon Slayer 2, there's a part where you have to go fight like a bunch of dragons, and you're on your ship, and then you're attacked by dragons, and your ship gets destroyed, and you're kind of running across a bunch of debris in the water to get to another ship so that you could fight a bunch of dragons that are on board that ship. But as you're going through it, it's like kind of slow, but the music that starts playing is the opening music to RuneScape. And that is such an awesome moment. That moment alone made it my favorite quest. It was so good. But there's no dialogue for it really at that part. The part that made it so cool was like, you know that it felt like your team was losing. And that's when the music started playing, because it was almost like this brings it to the beginning. I don't know. There's something about it that made it so epic. Oh, so good. So if it's got a great story told through the environment and atmosphere, that's what I really like. And that's why I like Underground and Temple of Ikov. And I don't even really remember what that quest is entirely about, but I remember going through it and like my feelings of it being like spooky and like, oh, this is like just strange and being kind of confused. And I mean, Underground Pass has a little bit of PTSD from running out of food because you kept failing the agility course. So you had to go, or the agility shortcut things. So you had to go back and get food. And it's such a long hike to the bank to get food. So there's a little bit of that involved. But we got to choose one more quest. And this would be a tough one. Oh, that is a tough one. What would it be? Gosh, I don't know. Desert Treasure 2 kind of is the first one that comes to my mind, because that's the thing. I don't remember the dialogue, or I don't always remember the story being told exactly. I don't really remember the core parts of Desert Treasure 2, but I remember going to the 4 different environments and landscapes. I remember fighting the bosses. I remember trekking through the temple or the pyramid and how tough that is, and getting access to the altar at the end. I remember the stranger that pops up and attacks you. We're going to circle back to that in a moment, or later on in this episode. So yeah, maybe Desert Treasure would be it, because it's just, it's very cool. And again, part of the reason I want to go back and play RuneScape 3, because the quests are so good. The dialogue is really good in RuneScape 3. I don't really enjoy it too much in old school RuneScape. but RuneScape 3 has all the atmospherics, and it has better writing, and it's got like voice acting and original music scores. It's pretty good, and you don't feel the need to actually use a quest guide. A lot of quests in old school RuneScape, I feel like I have to use a quest guide, or I'm going to be spending like my whole life trying to figure out this puzzle or something. RuneScape 3, for the most part, they give you enough information to figure something out on your own, which is, I really do appreciate that part. Those are my quests there. Top 5 cities. Oh, top 5 cities. I mean, the Varrock, Falador, probably Sears. Sears, it's more of a village, but whatever. There's not a whole lot of cities, is there? Falador, Varrock. I guess Lumbridge is kind of a city. I pick all the ones that I go to the most. They're the most like memorable. Like, they're the ones that stick into my mind. As soon as you mention name a city, it's the top. Those are like the few that I remember. So it's hard to say. Do I actually have like a favorite? Like, I do like Prifdina's. It's one of my. I think it's really cool. It's fun to explore. I love all the things that are going on there, but there's not a whole lot to do. And it still doesn't even compare to Varrock, which is like a hub, and it's got a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah, that's a tough one. And then top 5 mini games. Gonna make me do the top 5 mini games. Does anybody even play mini games? Like what is a mini game? I don't think even Jagex knows, because they call Barrows a mini game, and that's definitely one of my favorite mini games. So let's go through. Like, Bounty Hunter is technically a mini game, which is removed, but if it comes back, I'd definitely choose that. But so Barrows is technically a mini game, which I wouldn't classify it as that, but it is. It's definitely one of my favorites. Barbarian Assault is actually a lot of fun once you learn how to do it. So that's one of my favorite. I love Tumble Trekking. It's not very useful. The rewards kind of stink, but I really liked Tumble Trekking. It was actually fun, and I wish it was a little bit better. So that's actually enjoyable. In the Inferno is technically a mini game. Come on, get out of here. Last Man Standing. Yeah, I really like Last Man Standing. Emir's Arena, or the PvP Arena. I don't do it at all, because no one else really does it, but that has potential to be fun. But unfortunately, they really flubbed on that update. So Last Man Standing will have to take it over that. And then, what else do we want? Tombs of a Masket and Theater of Blood are technically mini games. Is that crazy? That's pretty crazy. Guardians of the Rift. Oh, I like the Puro, whatever. I like catching the Imsa. It's kind of fun. Ugh. Can we just leave it at that? Shades of Morden. Again, I wish that was a little bit more fleshed out, but that has a lot of potential of being really cool. Burthorpe Games Room. Connect 4 tournament. When are we going to do another one of those? That's my question. We did that way back, and it was a huge hit. Anyways, Matacos1, thank you so much for all the questions there. Great stuff. And then Hoyt's asking, do the opposite. Worst 5 skills, worst 5 quests, and worst 5 mini games. So we can do that. Let's start out with worst skills. This is going to be easy. Thieving, 100%. Agility. Hunter has potential to be a really, really cool skill, but gosh, is it ever like just fluffed up? Like, everything there isn't useful at all. So Hunter has to take it because it should be better. It should be way better. So Thieving, Agility, Hunter, Smithing. We'll go with Smithing because Giant's Foundry did not make it fun. Blast Furnace sucks. Yeah. So that definitely goes there as well. And you know what? Can Construction be my top 5 favorite and my top 5 worst? Because I hate training Construction that much. It's so boring. Jagex, fix this game. Stop making us do shit that's not fun. Gosh, like, when are we gonna get there? RuneScape 3 is doing it. I'm a RuneScape 3 shell now, but they will go ahead and say, you know what, this isn't fun. That's what their idea is. People want to rush to the end game to the PVM because that's what's fun. Let's get them there as fast as possible. So there's ways to train your combat skills so quickly. Go watch the Jimmy video. He shows you how to really bypass levels. Just get to the end game to do bossing, because that's all people want to do. Is that what I don't know. Obviously, I'm not saying we should do that in old school RuneScape, but get to the fun stuff as fast as possible. I don't know. How can you argue with that one? Top 5 worst mini games. Ooh, this one will be a doozy. Can I do Amir's Arena? Because it should be fun, but Jagex really flubbed on that one. Right? Can I do that? I don't know if I can do that, but Inferno, it's on the list of mini games, so I'm going to add it there. One of the worst mini games. Hate it. Not fun at all. I do not enjoy it. You know what it is? I'm a little bit salty that they added something that I don't think I'll ever be able to get. And 1, because I'm not good enough, and then 2, because it's just like I don't have the desire. So let's say we're gonna have the Inferno on there. people probably gonna disagree with that one. I get it. Soul Wars, I think I'm going to do because it sounded like it would be fun, and I've tried to grind out some of the uniques on it, and it's just not fun at all. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. It's gonna be hard. I gotta pick 3 others that aren't good. Can we do Fishing Trawler? Because it could be that could have been cool. That could have actually been cool and fun to do, but again, they made it's an old mini game, so it sucks. That's what I'm trying to say. Blast Furnace also sucks. Not fun at all. I don't care how fast it is. Don't care how fast it is. It could be 5 times as fast as it is, and I still wouldn't do it because it's just like the worst. So we're gonna add that to it, and then Tithe Farming. That's going in there. I've had to run it on my UIM lately, and gosh, do I hate that mini game ever. Although I will say, when you're grinding it for just experience and not points, it is less terrible to do. It is less terrible to do. 5 worst quests. Oh god, I can't pick the 5 worst. I could probably just pick Sheep Shearer. I don't think I could pick 5 worst quests. Not Sheep Shearer. Sheep Herder is an awful one. But overall, Monkey Madness 2, easily. Monkey Madness 2 and Monkey Madness 1. Both those quests. Oh my god. There's just 2 parts. The whole docks on Monkey Madness 2 was awful. There's 3. I can't pick the other ones. I was gonna say One Small Favor, but that's just me riding the bandwagon. I don't even remember how that. I don't remember if that quest is actually bad or not. I do not remember. Thank you so much for the questions there. We got another note from Cool Hand Luke, and he says, "Hey Dilz, just a quick topic suggestion. A friend of mine and I were discussing, imagine if you were transported to the RuneScape universe as a real person, as if you were starting a new account. Everything is real, you feel the weather, hunger, pain, etc. However, you still possess the knowledge of the entire world as you know it. What would be the first 3 things you would do after the safety of Tutorial Island? How long do you think you would survive? Just a fun little experiment." I was thinking about this. I was really pondering on this one. What would be the first 3 things you would do after the safety of Tutorial Island? So you land and you're in Lumbridge Castle. I would probably go, honestly, what would I do? I would probably go into the castle. I'd probably talk to the cook, and then he would make me go fetch a bunch of stuff. But I wouldn't just go fetch all the stuff for him just so they can make a cake, so that for whatever reason. But if you offer me a job, like, hey, you want to be my apprentice? I'll pay you some money. Because that's really what I would need to get going. I would need some sort of job, because my main goal would be to get my own player-owned house. Because if I get my own player-owned house, that's a place I can just live, and then I'm safe. I can get my computer in there, and I can play RuneScape. We're good in my own player-owned house. But it is a lot of money. It's $10,000, 10,000 gold. I only just start off with 25. That's kind of tough to get. I'm not going to Stronghold Security. I'm going to die if I end up doing that. So I'd probably see if I can get a job from the cook. And if he could do that, then I would just have to, would I ever make enough money? Here's the problem. I make enough money from the cook. Let's say it pays really well. The cook offers me a job. It pays really well. I get 10,000 gold easily. Now I have to go buy my first house. But then I have to walk to Varrock, and you make one wrong path, and you're going to get killed by a bunch of dark mages, right? That happens to players all the time. And the worst part about it is you walk, there's a signpost, and it just says this way to Varrock, and this way is another way to Varrock. you don't know that one way has, the sign doesn't say black mage is this way or dark mage is this way. And, you know, even if you, no matter what path you pick, you're either facing a bear and a giant rat, or you're facing these dark mages. And and that's the thing. Like, if you had a choice, would you face off against a grizzly bear or dark mages? Right? What would you choose? That's a real tough one, because the bear, if it decides to kill you, it's going to, you're dead. That's scary. And they're unpredictable, right? For the most part. Unless you know bears, but no, I don't. So that's pretty sketch. And then dark mages, like, you just kind of hope that they maybe don't notice you. They'd be much more visible. Like, a bear is not going to not notice you. You cut closer, it can smell you. I was reading something that bears can smell like how much better a dog can smell compared to us is the same, like, it's comparable to like a bear and a dog. Like that, like a bear can smell way better than a dog can. And we know how well dogs can smell. I listened to a podcast and someone described it as, you know, when like a skunk like sprays somewhere and you can smell it from like kilometers away. Maybe not kilometers away, but you can smell it like pretty far away. You don't even know where it's from, but you get this faint smell of it. Like, that's how dogs can smell everything. If that's how dogs can, and bears can smell even better than that, there's no hiding from a bear. If you're near it, it's gonna come find you. Now, dark mages though, you could kind of maybe sneak by them. But you gotta be quick. There's a mugger there too, right? There's a champions guild, and then there's the mugger. So I would probably go the dark mages route. Yeah, I think I would go that route. But then here's the problem. You buy the house in Remington. It's a huge trek. I started reading the RuneScape novels again. Then I stopped because I just fell out of the reading mood. I usually read before bed. But so apparently from Falador to Taverley, it's about a 2 to 3 day horseback ride. So from Varrock to Remington, like, that's a weeks and weeks long. That's a really, really long trip. So I'm probably going to die along the way. So anyways, all this to say, how long do you think I would survive? I would probably survive long enough to get money for my own POH. I'd either be getting taken advantage of by the chef, like getting paid so little money, and maybe he offered me like room and board in the basement of Lumbridge. But as soon as I made enough to go get my player-owned house, I'd probably die on my trip there. I probably wouldn't plan well either. I probably wouldn't bring enough food and stuff. So like halfway through, I'd start starving and I'd have to like find the farm. Anyways, it wouldn't be good. So once I made enough money from a player-owned house, I would probably die in 3 days, is what I'm thinking. Anyways, guys, call in. Let me know what I should have done differently. It's like choose your own adventure. Where did I go wrong? Because I need to know. Thank you so much for that. Cool hand Luke. Appreciate it. Piff Squeak mentioned, hey Dilz, you mentioned about random events in the podcast. It reminds me of the start of Regicide, where you have to wait for an elf to pop up and give you a message to start the quest. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we were talking about Desert Treasure earlier, and that stranger that pops up and that fights you is very similar to that. And man, I love stuff like that. It's just very immersive. And whenever a video game has those sort of random events, it quickly becomes like very appealing to me. I was playing Witcher 3. It's a very, very fun game, but I'll be honest, Skyrim has spoiled me, because the random events that you bump into on Witcher 3 come nowhere close to what Skyrim is. And I've played the beginning of Witcher 3 a couple times, and some things that I thought were random events aren't random events, and they were like kind of scripted, and that's less exciting. But one of the things I'm really excited about for Starfield, Starwalk, Star something. It's the space game from Bethesda. I think it's gonna be awesome, and I hope it has those random events, because that'd be sweet. I used to really like No Man's Sky. It is a fun game to just kind of chill and play, but the problem I have is like a lot of things are random in it, but they're so random with so little point or purpose, that like the randomness needs to have some sort of substance to it. Like when you bump into the guards escorting the people to a city in Skyrim, that is a point. Your morals come into play. Do you ignore it? Do you save the person or whatever? Or there's a few of them. I haven't played Skyrim in a long time, but Fallout 4 also has those, and yeah, they're good. I really enjoy it. The elf that pops to give you the message is cool. And even that gets you to kind of go like, whoa, what the hell is this? I had the same experience in the wilderness. I saw a ghost roaming around and I didn't realize that happened. And the first time I saw it really spooked me because I actually thought, I was like, is this a J-mod? Is this a J-mod who's just like cruising around? And it just turns out, no, these ghosts just roam and they're not really NPCs. You can't target them or anything. And in the Rev Caves, you see a ton of them. So it makes a lot of sense. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for sending in your questions. We're going to be wrapping it up shortly. But before we do, we do get some call-ins. We did get some call-ins. So there's a speak pipe that you can access to leave calls for anything. I think I asked people to call in about the Summer Summit. What'd you guys think? Or excuse me, the Winter Summit. And so yeah, let's play that. We're going to start with Vine of Iron, who called in. Let's see what they have to say.
Hiya, I go by Vine of Iron in game and on Discord. And sorry if it's a little bit loud. I'm at work and there are people here. But I'm actually not answering the question of the week. I'm answering the question that Busco Beat asked, which was, what was your "I'm really gaming now, boys" moment? My real gamer moment was the first time I killed Hispori, which was actually the first boss I ever encountered. I didn't bother to go for like the free-to-play bosses or like anything like interesting or like normal even. I was just like, oh hey, I happen to be in the farming guild. Hispori happens to be here. I wonder what would happen if I went and fought it. And so far I think I'm 3 for 3 actually killing it. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that was my real gamer moment. Look forward to hearing the next episode, you guys.
Vin of Iron. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's great. The first boss encounter is definitely a gaming moment. It just feels good. And Hispori is it could be tough if you're not prepared. You can't just if you get cocky, you could go in there and you can get KO'd real easily. It's not super hard. Like it's not on the level of like the Inferno, obviously, but like still, it's pretty tough. And there's a few times I get smacked around hard because I underestimate how much damage it's going to do. So yeah, it's a cool boss, and I do really like that you have to plant it and come back. It's like thematically, it's a pretty sweet boss. That's great. Congrats on the kill there. And then you know what? It's like it's Pandora's box. You get the first one down. Think of all the other new bosses you have in front of you now. It's a great time. Thanks so much for calling in. Big Hoyt is next. Let's see what they have to say.
Hey Dilz, this is Hoyt. I just wanted to call in and wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, as well as anyone else who is listening. I've been listening to the podcast since 2018, and it always makes my day when there's a new episode out and I can play it on my commute to work. Makes time go by that much faster. So thank you for another great year of podcasts. Now, regarding the Winter Summit, I'm most excited for a new skill. I do hope this is somewhat of a collecting skill, if you may, that perhaps makes you go around the world. I would vote for sailing because I do remember, before summoning when, it was being teased and people thought it was going to come in the game. I remember looking up info on that. So it's kind of nostalgic. I think it fits that. I think it would be great marketing to talk about sailing because it would bring back all those old school players. As far as, what I'm most scared of with the new update, I'm wondering about this new forestry thing. I don't know if it's going to be successful or if it's going to be another shooting stars where some like it, some don't ever touch it. But overall, I think that woodcutting is the wrong skill to focus on. I think that you're trying to fix something that isn't broken. It's already well liked by the community. And yeah, thank you.
Hoyt, thank you so much for your kind words and for calling in as well as writing in. Look at that, the double whammy. So in regards to the new skill, I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect. I don't know what direction we're going to see it. Gentle Tractor, who's he's made like a lot of creations and update pitches, and he's done a lot for the game. He's been one of the main people that convinced Jagex to like redesign Zaya. It used to look like shit before. You could probably go find it. It used to be really blocky. Look it up. It's awful. Who came up with that? Literally, like, I am not an artist or like a designer or anything, and I don't think I would have got that lazy. It was just a square. There's a square in every house. Every house's area was a square. Everything looked like Saskatchewan. Like you take 5 Saskatchewans, put them together. Go look at Saskatchewan on a map. It's just a friggin' square, rectangle. That's how Zaya was. Is Canada the Zaya of the world? Maybe it is. We need a redesign. So General Tractor kind of convinced him to do that, and he did a whole write-up on sailing as well, and it was really cool. I really liked it. But one thing he made a point to address was that most skills in the game are like realistically like they were kind of jobs in medieval times, sort of, or if they weren't, they would make sense if they were. You know, so you look at like smithing, blacksmithing, fishing, cooking, maybe not fire making, but wood cutting, farming, hunting, fletching. All of these were like, they were jobs people did, right? And it makes sense. Then you come to like prayer. We got monks, magic. Like obviously magic doesn't exist, or maybe it does, right? Some people, Chris Angel might have something to say about that. But if magic did exist, wizards would probably make a ton of money. Like they always have nice robes too, and those robes are gotta be expensive to make with nice staffs. They're always in like wizard towers. It's never like a wizard house. It's always a tower. So you know they're gonna be making a lot of money there. But yeah, every skill, like you could make the argument that this was somebody had this job at some point, or it makes sense if they did have the job. You know, you're a slayer. That's in the heavy metal rock band Slayer, or maybe you're just like culling creatures and elves and dwarves for some reason, because that's okay. It's a little grim if you ask me, but hey, it's Gielinor things. So the new skill, to make it kind of fit with the others, I think in a way it has to kind of have its own job like that. So sailing does kind of fit in that way. And anyways, you're the thing that you're most worried about being the socializing of woodcutting. You know, I was excited about it, but you made a good point that you're worried that it's going to become like Shooting Stars is for mining. And you know what? It seems like they were trying to make Shooting Stars a very social thing. You know, you want to call it out and everyone meets up to do it together. But the rewards sucked. That's the problem. The rewards were crap. Like I actually don't mind Shooting Stars, but once I've got my rewards, why am I going back there? I have no reason to go back there. Now, one thing I do love about Shooting Stars is it goes back to the random encounters. There's a few times I was like walking around Gielinor and I saw this shadow on the ground and it started expanding and getting bigger, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Then a few seconds later, boom, a shooting star lands, and I was like, oh, that's what that was. That's cool. That's awesome. So I get excited thinking that a lot of other people have that same experience where they're just going to see this shadow kind of expanding and it's going to crash into the ground. Like that's really cool. Love that. Thank you so much, Hoyt, for calling in. And we're going to talk to our last caller, which is Matacause1, another double whammy.
Well, hello there. Mr. Hoyt inspired me to call in about my bottom 5 skills. And I think I've really got some convincing arguments for why these are, without doubt, the worst skills in the game. This is Matacause1, and this is my bottom 5 old school RuneScape skills. Starting with number 5, hit points. It's a useless skill for players who are actually good. Like, for example, I'm skilled and don't need the extra life. It just feels like cheating to me. Number 4, Slayer. For players who aren't good enough to kill other players in PvP, Maybe this is useful. Seems like a cowardly skill to me, though. 3. Ranged. Quit being a wimp and go fight up close. 2. Prayer. Jagex has created too big of a divide between the religions with this skill. How come I can't pray to the cat deities and get the same power of prayers as when I pray to some stupid Sadarama, Sababada, Saradomin, whatever god? And number 1, defense. It's all about preemptive strikes. Why defend when you can attack? Matacos 1.
Matacos, it's Christmas for God's sake. So you can't come out swinging like that. You know what though? Some good points. Like really, like having 99 hit points and having 50 hit points, like what is the difference? There really is no difference unless you're fighting a monster that can hit you 50. Then there kind of is a little bit of a difference, but still, at even 1 HP. Going back to the card games, guys, I've been going deep in these card games. I apologize. It's gonna be a recurring theme. But one thing they say in all of these card games is your life points, your health, it's a resource. The only life point that matters is your final life point. So having 2 HP and having 99 HP is the exact same thing. Because you're gonna spend that final hit point no matter what. You want to use it as a resource. So I think that's a good point. I'm not gonna go debunk the other ones, but some hot takes there. I remember how many of us when we first played thought the only way to train defense was by getting hit. I used to train ranged, and I would like safe. You would what do you call them? You would safe spot them, so things couldn't hit you. And I thought that was the reason I'm not getting my defense levels, is because no monsters are hitting me while I'm doing this. Jagex never really made it clear how you level defense. I think a lot about that problem. That's really funny. Matacos 1, thank you so much for calling in. Guys, thank you so much for calling in as well. We're going to wrap it here. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be a shorter episode, and we're already running at an hour long. So there's something wrong with me. Guys, thanks so much for calling in. And if you want to join our clan, it's in-game, it's wild. Our Discord is discord.gg/thewilderness. If you want to write an email, thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @thewildernessrs if you want to send it in through there. I'm not super active though. And you can go on our speak pipe, which is going to be in the description below. And you can call us and tell us whatever it is you want to tell us. It doesn't matter. So that's it. I want to wish everyone the best wishes over the holidays. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there. Have a Happy New Year's as well, because the next episode might come out after the New Year's. But and thank you so much for kind of sticking with us this year. And any new listeners that joined us this year, so glad you are enjoying the show. I hope, unless you hate listening it, which is still a source of enjoyment, I think. So that's still appreciated. But it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to 2023 and all the fun stuff that's happening there. So much love. We'll see you on the next one. And also, if you have strong opinions about these raw type of episodes that are typically solo, let me know. So feedback is always welcome. But anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, love you all. We'll see you on the next one, and have a fantastic New Year's. And of course, call in with your resolutions for 2023, because we will be asking you on next episode what you have planned to get done. Bye-bye.